Peterson climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
on! We are live. NBA rundown time. RunPureSports.com, the place to be for the best in daily gambling and daily fantasy information. Tyler, how are you today? And who do I have to talk to get LeBron taken out of that intro?
I'm not sure who you have to talk to about that, but I don't think it's going to work. And pretty tired, but we're here to talk about the NBA Finals.
You look exhausted, man. I thought I was tired today.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
That's what happens when 3 dogs keep you up spreading you work overnights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people buy dogs instead of cats. I mean, that's just so crazy. It's just like, should I get a Lexus or a freaking bicycle? All right, let's dive right into the NBA Finals. What did you see on Wednesday night? And how is that going to affect what you see tonight? Because I'll tell you what, initially when we were going off, I got to hang out with our good buddy Jay. And initially when we were going off the air, I was like, I think I'm going to hammer Heat Game 4. I'm going to hammer Heat Game 4. It's a little different, so watching it live, and then I know you guys laugh, but I rewatched these games. If the Heat don't shoot 50% from 3, can they win this series? What did you see in Game 3, Tyler?
No, I mean, that's what I think. If they're not hitting their threes, they're not going to be able to win games. I mean, Denver's going to eventually find somebody that can make some shots. Jokic is going to get his, so series might be over spread. I think Denver might have it in the bag. I think it might be finally at the end of the Miami run.
The thing for Denver, right? They can score without being 3-ball dependent. I mean, they weren't excellent from the field. 5 of 18. I'm going off the top of my head, but if I recall correctly, right? 5 of 18 from the field in Game 3, and they still won handily. Another thing needs to be pointed out. I mean, Malone was aggressive. We were doing the live show. We're thinking we're going to bet, right? And I said, Jokic will probably go out to start the 4th, right? We might be able to jump on Miami then. They didn't take him out. Malone put his foot on the gas. Do you think that affects tonight, the fact that these guys didn't get barely any rest? Jokic and Murray played almost the whole 4th. I don't think they came out till 1 minute to go.
No, I don't think it affects much. I mean, the guys have been playing a ton of minutes. They finally played them the whole second half, and they were able to run away with the game. I mean, I think you're going to see them guys play a ton of minutes again tonight, so I don't think much changes there.
All right. Yeah. So total's down to 211, Tyler. Total went under again. This thing zigzagged so far. Let me see where it's at right now. It was 211 when I was on here earlier. What are your thoughts on the total?
No, I'm probably still just staying away from the total. I mean, it just felt like right in that same range, anywhere from like 211 to 214. It's just one of them ones. I don't think we have a good read on it, and I'm not trying to force it, so I'll probably stay away from it.
Well, you and I are opposite there. I'm loving the over here tonight. I think that zigzags for sure. I think it kind of correlates with Miami, right? So maybe that's a way of me hedging and not trying to be too recency biased, right? Because my original idea was, I like Denver Game 3, and I think Miami comes back Game 4. You got to think Denver has to have learned from the mistake they made after Game 1, though. That could be interesting. But I do like the total. I think it correlates with the Heat as well. I think if you like the over, you like Miami. And if you like the under, you like Denver. Because, Tyler, if I play that over 211 and I don't get there, I think it's going to be much more likely from the Heat ending up in the 80s or the 90s than the Nuggets, right? I mean, even in a loss, I think Denver is going to put up 105, right? So it's just how good is that Heat offense going to be. But I know you like Miami on Wednesday, but now you're a little worried about them. What did you see to take you off the Heat here?
I mean, they couldn't make any of their shots. And just like you said, if they're not shooting 50% from 3, they're not going to win games.
They didn't make any in Game 1, though, and they bounced back Game 2 pretty nicely.
Yeah, but I just don't see it anymore. I think they ran their course. I think Denver's just found something. It's Murray and Jokic. They've just dominated. They both had 30.
Can they do that again, though? 30-point triple-doubles again?
I mean, Jokic can.
Yeah.
And if they're going to play Murray that many minutes, he definitely could too. So I just think it's overspread. I think Denver's got it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and so funny. I like Denver 4-1 to start as an exact series price, but they're giving me like plus 218. I was thinking I was going to get at least 4-1 on it, so I didn't bet it. And now, boy, I'm kind of kicking myself. I mean, boy, let's just play devil's advocate here. Miami wins tonight, right? They head back 2-2. How would your feelings be then going back into Denver? Would you think, that's just an outlier aberration, or do you think, hey, no, the series ain't over yet? Because it's not implausible. I mean, Miami's plus 3.5 tonight. They're only plus 142 on the money line. It's not implausible that Miami wins, heads back to Denver with a little momentum, and then pressure's back on the Nuggets.
I mean, I think even if they win tonight, I don't think it really affects much. Like, I to be honest, I just think Denver's got the series spread. Like they could do so much more. Miami's got only a few pathways to win, and if they don't fall on the few pathways, they don't win the game.
I feel like it's 5 or 6. I'm Matty Ice right here. Miami wins tonight, then loses 2 straight. I could see that happening too. That's a plausible outcome to me. So, all right. So there we have it. We're both kind of tepid on the side. I think we both lean Denver. I seem to like the total a lot more than you. Let's dive into some player props. Did you have any? Did you want to start with, or do you want me to go ahead and start reading mine off?
No, you can start reading yours off.
Aaron Gordon over 6.5 rebounds. Gordon had 10 rebounds in game 3. He's averaging 7.6 rebounds per game in the first 3 games of the NBA Finals. Game 3, Denver Nuggets rebounded the Miami Heat 58-33. Can you believe that, Tyler? 58-33. It's like that Atlanta Hawks game all over again. Denver's got the size advantage. I like Gordon over 6.5 rebounds. Your thoughts?
Yeah, love that because he's eating up all the Michael Porter rebounds too because Michael Porter's going to be on the bench tonight.
That was tying me into the very next one, and I want to get your thoughts on it because, and I put it on Twitter last night, and I got some good feedback either way. I swear the responses were like 50-50, where half the people wanted to go under and half the people wanted to go over on this Michael Porter under 10.5. We talk about this. JJ's big on it, right? I mean, one of the great things that JJ does is buy low spots on teams. You'll see him when he's navigating that NFL season. He's fantastic, right? He loves a team coming off a 41-7 loss, right? Buy low spot. The question that I think is the buy low spot going to be next game, right? I mean, if this is a roller coaster, are we all the way at the bottom yet? Is it that plausible that Porter fixes his shot on the road? Or maybe game 5, no pressure, right? That's where he finds a shot and everything starts falling together again. So my idea here, and I don't love it as much as I usually do, but that this is not the bottom of the roller coaster for Porter. I like under 10.5 here tonight. And then I'm thinking, if that hits, I want to go over in game 5. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. What he played 26 minutes last game. He got pulled. Brown looked good. Both Brown looks good. And when they were in the lineup. So, I mean, they could eat away at his minutes too. But 10.5 is really low. And if he hits a couple shots, he's going to be on the floor 40-plus minutes. So, I don't hate it. I don't hate the logic, but I'm not looking to bet it.
Yeah, I thought it was a tougher one, but I think it's going to be one of the ones that people want to talk about it. So, I want to take a stand there, right, Tyler? I wanted to pick a side. That's the type of guy I am, right? Even if I'm not strong, I always want to pick a side. I would never duck out on that. So, I'm going to go under tonight and think that hopefully I can go over on game 5 if that zigzag works for me. I got this one wrong in game 3, and I'm going right back to it. It's Jimmy Butler over 6.5 assists. In game 3, no one on the Heat had more than 5 assists. I mean, that's just terrible. Butler, he's averaging 5.9 assists per game. He had 9 assists in game 2 when they got the win. Only 4 assists in game 3. I think the Heat do play better tonight. So I'm going back to Butler over 6.5 assists. Your thoughts?
Yeah, don't hate that at all. I mean, he has to facilitate for them to be able to win, get these guys shots. So, and you're getting plus money on it too. So I don't hate that at plus money.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to Jimmy over on assists. What else do I got for the people today? Tyler. Oh, how about this one? Give me some Kevin Love over 5.5 points. I definitely like this one. It's only 2 threes. To me, that line should be 6.5, right? If it's 6.5, I don't know if I want to play it, right? At 5.5, I really like Kevin Love here. He took 5 3-point shots in game 3, and I think he only played like 19 minutes. So he's going to be chucking while he's out there. If I tell you He's going to take 5 threes tonight, Tyler. You want the over on this prop, right? So give me over 5.5 on Kevin Love.
Yeah, I love that, but I would just rather play his over 1.5 threes at plus 130.
It's the exact same bet almost.
It is, but what are you paying juice on a 5.5 minus 110?
Great point. All right, we'll see. That's why we talk about these, and Tyler's found a better way for me to make some money there. So Tyler's saying over 1.5 threes. So we both like Kevin Love because, I mean, that's what I love, these over 5.5s. You're never dead, right? For example, this prop that I'm going to give out, Jamal Murray over 25.5 points. He's been playing so well, right? But if he gets he's so explosive. He's not the best example, but you understand my point, right? When you're playing a high point total, like if you play a Jimmy point total, and he gets off to a slow first half, you're really worried there. I like the Kevin Love over that. But I'm also going over on Jamal Murray. Tyler, do you think this hot shooting stops? We thought that Butler was going to be able to slow him down, and that has not been the case. They've been using the picks, navigating the switches fairly well. I like Jamal Murray over 25.5 points.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to slow him down. He looked good on that game on the road. He plays worse on the road, but he picked it up last game. He probably just keeps going with this game. So,
all right. Well, let's bring in one of the best guys at Daily Fantasy that there is on this planet. Travis Mangone welcomes us. Travis, give us some energy today, man. I think that we're, with everything going on in the NBA, we're a little worn out. We've been grinding since October here. It hasn't been the most energetic show, but I know we can always count on you to come with the breakdowns. What did you see in Game 3, and what are you looking forward to tonight? Oh, and hi, how are you?
You look more worn out than Zion on a typical day, right?
Oh, wow. And I'm not worn out for the great reasons he is.
Yeah, I mean, man, I tuned in maybe like 7 minutes ago, so I don't know if you guys got that. My computer's been very slow and awful starting up, but we're finally here. Obviously the Zion stuff is hilarious. Did you see that the Nuggets made a trade today, by the way? That
I didn't even think you could trade right now.
That's what I was saying. Like, what is happening?
Why couldn't you?
They traded for draft picks. I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, it was just draft picks for draft picks. So
yeah, they did that. That was today's news.
Chris Paul's a free agent.
What do we think of Chris Paul? Do we know where Chris Paul's going? Like,
he's just going back to Phoenix.
Do we care?
I don't think he's going back to Phoenix. And yeah, of course we care.
Is he even a game changer anymore? I mean, I understand for daily fantasy he's going to adjust minutes, but for reality of like who's going to win the championship next year, does Chris Paul matter at all?
I mean, it depends. Like, you never know. Chris Paul could take like a cheaper deal and just be like, I'm going ring chasing. Could be like a Gary Payton,
Where would he go?
Where could he go?
Seems like Phoenix is his best spot.
I think Phoenix has got their eyes on the other two guys.
Like this is an out there idea, but like I don't think they have the money. But like, what if the Bucks were like, yeah, like could they somehow grab Chris Paul? Is that possible? Bobby Portis leaving?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. Oh, here's mine. Okay, if we really want to do it, of course the Lakers, because that always has to come up. But the Clippers, right? Head back home.
No, we don't. I mean, yeah, it's not terrible.
They need a point guard.
No, you know who needs a damn point guard? The Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Their off season could go so many ways. Also, do we need another guy that you have to manage his minutes throughout the season, make sure he's healthy, and then he isn't healthy in the playoffs? And Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Paul, it's just too much. Like too many guys to manage.
That's why I say it doesn't matter. Like, whoop-de-doo, he's gonna go to some teams so he can sit on the bench in the playoffs. Like,
no, it matters more than you think. Like, if a really good basketball team had Chris Paul and the Kyle Lowry role, you're telling me that wouldn't matter?
So if you're telling me Chris Paul was on Miami Heat tonight, you think Miami Heat would win the championship against the Denver Nuggets?
Well, I mean, the Miami Heat could win the championship with Kyle Lowry.
If you put CP3 in that Brogdon role, would you be fine with that?
But
it's almost a downgrade.
Yeah, that's more of a.
But Brogdon sucked in the playoffs. Those lights got too bright for him. He couldn't do a damn thing.
He didn't suck in the playoffs. He sucked once he got hurt. He was playing with an injury. He was really good for a stretch there. That Sixers series, he was doing some pretty good stuff.
All right. Well, you guys care about Chris Paul. I'll just kind of check Twitter the day that it happens.
I care.
I really don't think it matters. I think a guy like Jay Crowder could help a championship team more than Chris Paul.
Just spread. Jay Crowder's not helping a team more than Chris Paul. Stop it.
I gotta get you fired up. It's a low energy show today, bro. We gotta get some coffee going here.
I mean,
I'm trying to get you fired up, man.
Well, let's talk about Damian Lillard. Where is Dame going? Like, Dame doesn't want to go to Boston. Did you hear that?
Why would you want to go to Boston? Who wants to Tatum?
I'm just
saying. He probably talked to Jaylen Brown. He said, "What's it like playing with him?" And he said, "Bro, I'm trying to go to Portland."
Well, here's the thing. If you were trading Damian Lillard to Boston, Jaylen Brown would have to be in the deal. So it's like that doesn't matter. Like, I'm not saying the Celtics should do it. I'm just saying, like, they've talked with where is Dame.
I would not want to go to Boston if I was Damian Lillard.
Well, they talked about where is Dame going to go, right? And some of the ideas have been, and it's been clearly an Eastern Conference team. They don't want to trade him to a Western Conference one. So Boston was floated around. Dame kind of denied that. Then you had the Miami Heat's the one that like seems like he wants to go to. They have enough ammo to like do it, but like they're clearly getting a downgrade with Hero and whatever other assets they'd send over. I think the Knicks and Nets are both in the conversation. To a degree, you're clearly not getting the best value for him, but you're getting something, right? Like getting like a Spencer Dinwiddie is perfectly fine, right? Because Dame talked about wanting to play with Bridges. He said Bam Adebayo is his guy, which I thought was really odd. But if you somehow got him to Miami, that can make sense. There's talk to him going to the Knicks, obviously, and the Knicks have like enough. Like, I'm not saying people are dying to play with Julius Randle or something, but like they have the pieces to like. Basically, if you make that trade and you get rid of a Dame, you're getting enough back where you're like, we're getting robbed, but at least we're getting something.
What about a team you already talked about for CP3? The team that I've talked about for Dame before, Milwaukee. They didn't win the ring. They didn't go far in the playoffs. It's time to retool that roster. Dame and Giannis would be a hell of a 2-punch.
It would be interesting. I think Drew is so valuable to that team, though. Like,
you think they can get it done with keeping him?
Keeping what, Drew and Middleton and Giannis?
No, I mean, you can get Middleton out of there. Middleton could be in the package, but I think keeping Drew is the biggest one. Like, they're not trading Giannis, like he's just off the table.
Agreed. You don't want to put Dame at the 1, Drew at the 2, and it's like they're 1 and 2, interchangeable. You have Giannis at the 4, Brook Lopez at the 5. Bobby Portis think he's out of town, and then you like surround that with like 3 and D guys, you know. You make Giannis play the backup 5.
I think
you have some clown backup 5 for the regular season just to like grab some boards and do some dirty work, but he's not really playing in the postseason.
Go get some Enos Freedom.
Yeah. He's a great guy to grab just for the regular season and waves a towel in the postseason. Like, because in the postseason, what you want to do with the Bucks, like you want Brooks starting at the 5, you want Giannis coming off the court and then playing at the 5 behind Brook Lopez, and those two guys soak up the 5, and Giannis soaks up some of the 4 at times. You don't really need to have a true, like, you can get like a Cody Zeller type if you really want, but I mean, yeah. I mean, it is funny Cody Zeller is being talked about in the 2023 playoffs, not just playoffs, the finals.
What do we think? Because our guy Clyde brought up Memphis in the chat. What do we think they're going to do with Ja? I mean, I know we've been here with this conversation before, but he's getting suspended again. How bad do we think this one's going to be?
Yeah, the problem is his value is so down. Like, so it's like hard. What you need to do is if you really wanted to trade Ja, I would personally, I'd play the season out and like see how it happens after a year, and I try to like get his ceiling back higher and then get rid of him if I could. But I know Spread hates this conversation. He's so not here for it.
No.
I'm just waiting to talk about the teams that actually exist.
I mean, why you don't enjoy this conversation? I guess maybe.
No.
Spread wanted us to fill an hour show talking about the same.
Yeah, I can't talk about Miami and Denver for an hour.
Yeah. I just want to point out to the chat, if you guys asked me what I thought to try and pick a side for the game, and I started talking about Chris Paul to the Detroit Pistons, the whole chat would go ballistic on me, right? But Travis and Tyler can go ahead. Travis, who's going to win tonight? Help me out.
Spread, that's what happens when the last time you're on the show, you said, hey, make this bet, this bet, this bet, and all 3 hit, right? I mean, that's what happens. Like,
I know. I guess this is the victory lap portion, right? You're like, before I line up in the starters block for the next one, Let me take the Mangone.
We might have to change the name of this show to just the weekly Mangone victory lap, because every time he comes on there, it's just victory lap after victory lap.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose.
It's fantastic.
There's only one. There's definitely one show where it was not good, and it was it was after the Celtics and Lakers got absolutely pounded. But so yeah. Anyways, so tonight, who do I like? So I would say my initial lean to start everything off was, I think it's a clear zigzag spot, right? Just zag over to the Heat, right? Like, it's just this series back forth. I like the Heat. I'm taking them at the plus 3.5. I take them at the money line as well, plus 140 if you want to take both.
Ooh.
Listen, you don't always have to like bet one unit on each. If you want, you can go like 0.5 units on each, right? That way you get a little bit extra if it hits where they hit on the money line. So I like the Heat tonight. I like them on the money line. I like them plus 3.5. I'm on the Heat tonight for sure. They're definitely going to be a team that I'm backing. What do you guys think of the total at 211? It's gone down 3.5 points. You think it's going over?
Over.
I don't want nothing to do with that total.
You talked about zigzag. We've zigzagged on totals too, and I think that's an easier one. And I told Tyler right before you got on, so I'll keep it quick. But it's completely correlated. If you like the Heat, you like the over.
Yeah.
Because the only way I got an over ticket, the only way it doesn't cash, the Heat are sitting at 87 at the end of the game, right? Denver's not gonna go short on me. If the Heat win, it's going to be 111, 105, right? This an under to me. If you tell me the game's going under, I'm going to go ahead and bet Denver right now.
I got a question for you, Spread.
That's fair.
What percentage of games when Jokic triple doubles are they going to win in this series? If he puts a triple double on the board, what's the percentage of winning this game tonight? Because I think it's 100%. I think if he puts a triple double on the board, they automatically win the game. Because that means the guys around him are hitting their shots, and I don't think Miami can keep up at that point.
Okay, that's a great point. I guess it really comes down to the assists, because we're almost walking in.
Yeah, he's gonna walk into 30.
I mean, a double's got to be what, minus 2,000?
Yeah, like one player prop I did pick out, Jokic over points plus rebounds 43.5. Would he have 50 something last game? They're gonna try and force him to score. He's going to get us double-digit boards. He should be able to walk into that 43.5 points plus rebounds.
Travis, a big concern for me is Miami getting out-rebounded 58-33 in Game 3. They didn't grow any taller from Game 3 to Game 4. How do you think that, how are they going to approach that tonight? How do they fix that?
How do they fix their rebounding? It's not easy. You make buckets, right? When you make a basket, you can't rebound the ball. I guess
Good point. Okay.
That's my answer, I guess. I mean, listen, Jokic is going to get boards, right? Bam is making him work a ton. One thing to call out too is one reason they're not going to probably get as much offensive boards is because when Bam puts up, like the way Bam is being played, Bam is not playing under the hoop, right? He's playing kind of a little further from the hoop and trying to hit that in that zone, trying to hit that shot. And well, he's naturally boxed out, right? You have Jokic boxing him, and then the other guys crash. So good luck getting those rebounds. And another reason you should so Tyler, if you like the Jokic over on rebounds, that means you think Michael Porter Jr. is not playing a lot tonight, right? Not that Bruce Brown can't rebound, but what we have seen a lot of throughout the postseason is we have seen Michael Porter Jr.'s rebounds spike. And the reason they're spiking is because, one, he plays with Aaron Gordon when he's at the 5, and 2, Jokic does a really good job of sealing guys off when he's had to deal with like Anthony Davis at times, right? He sealed him off really well and let Michael Porter Jr. just grab the board instead. So you're probably, if I was betting, like let's say I was betting on the over on Jokic's rebounds, I would probably want to be in on some Michael Porter Jr. unders, if that makes any sense, just because I think that's kind of correlated to a degree. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. So Jokic, definitely think he's going to obviously be great in this game. He's going to do everything he can. What they're going to do is they're going to do what they've been doing all the series. Is they're not doubling him, right? But they're doing enough to shade over but not force it out of his hand, right? They want him to do everything, but they also don't want to get off of the the 3-point line. One reason I really like the KCP bet last time under on 3-pointers is because they're letting him do his thing. And then once it kind of gets further down on the clock, they'll shade over if they need to, but they're making sure those guys don't get easy threes. They're basically saying these are the guys that are not scoring. KCP, Michael Porter Jr., all those guys, but they're fine with Jokic getting his because Jokic is going to get his. And then they're banking on Jamal Murray missing some shots. But, I mean, Jamal Murray's really good, right? There's some shots Jamal Murray hit last game that you're like, well, he's just Jamal Murray, right? It was a great contest, but there's nothing you can do about it. So I want to attack some of these other options, right? Like, I want to – like, what do you guys think of – let's see what KCP's 3-pointer is. Did that get nuked from – because that was my favorite one last time. I'm assuming the books nuked it. It's minus 140 on the 1.5 threes. What do you guys think of that? I think that's a really good prop.
What are you looking at, the over or the under?
Under.
Yeah, there are a little better odds on FanDuel minus 122 on that. I do like that call.
Oh, I'm betting that now. So, I didn't know it was – so that's an 18-cent difference. DKs are probably worse than FanDuel. I'll admit I haven't looked at them all today, but that's the one I wanted to definitely, like, watching the game. I was watching with my friend. I told him about the KCP one, and he was like, "Oh, you probably have that set." I was like, "Yeah, I can." You could just tell during the game, like KCP's not getting his. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he maybe gets a shot or two, but the shots he's getting are not organized shots. It's like, okay, shot clock went down or the ball landed in his hands. Like it was one of those things where they're not running anything for him, right? It's not like the Miami Heat are saying, "Oh, corner three, yeah, we'll give you the corner three." That's how we're designing our offense. So. Yeah, let's bet that at minus 122. I'm doing that right now on FanDuel.
What's your thoughts on Love over 1.5 threes plus 130?
It's under. Say it again.
Love over 1.5 threes at plus 130. It's all the dude's gonna shoot tonight.
So you said under on how many?
No, over
1.5 threes.
Yeah.
What's the juice?
Plus 130.
So plus 130. Here's. I don't hate it. The problem is you need the minutes to go your way, right? Like that's the one thing and like.
I mean, he had 5 3 attempts in 19 minutes last game.
Yeah.
He's gonna chuck.
I don't hate it. It's definitely not bad.
I love it. Just so you know.
I think it's one of those things like if like you bet it and you're either gonna hate yourself the entire game because you're just watching it and he's not playing. When he does play, he doesn't shoot it. Or about 6 minutes into the game, you're going to go, that was easy.
Yeah, boom, check mark emoji, cash emoji,
he's also
all caps.
He's just so minutes dependent, right? Like, if Kevin Love played 8 minutes tonight, anybody shot.
He's going to play more than 8 minutes.
Spread, yes, he's going to – yes. I would bet the over on 8 minutes. But if he played only 8 minutes, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Really? I would. I think they need him out there.
I just –
if he plays 8 minutes, I love my Denver bet tonight.
Yeah. The point I'm getting at is like, and maybe 8 something number, but like spread, let's go with like 14. Are you feeling great on your bet with 14 minutes?
Yeah, because I think you can get 5 3-point attempts up in 14 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the one thing I like about it, spread, is it's positive money. I'll give you that. That's the thing that's nice. If it was like minus like 120 or 130, I'd be like, oh, I don't like that as much, right? But these just minute dependent guys get me nervous for sure. That's my one worry. What do you guys think of? So trying to take advantage of some of these lines. Let's see. I do not like your Michael Porter Jr. bet for what it's worth. I'm agreeing with you on. I think we're not at the bottom of the roller coaster for sure, but I don't think I need to make the bet. Like I'm okay watching from the sidelines. I'll just say that, spread. I'm not like racing to bet the 10.5.
I was on the same page, Travis, because I feel like if he hits like 2 shots, now you're dead because he's gonna play 40 plus minutes.
You know me, guys. I just have to pick a side no matter what, though, and I think that's really, and we're gonna get into the DFS aspect, right? I mean, isn't that a crucial decision? Actually, can we do that right now, Travis? First of all, I want to win some money tonight, right? So the first thing I did was I had to run puresports.com. I'm using that promo code Summer33. I got access to the core plays. Saber Sim, your 3 max content, right? But help me out right now, okay? Do you have these prices pulled up?
So start going through. I legit haven't looked at anything, but that's not the worst thing. I kind of like doing
okay.
runs.
Well, this is great. This will work then. Okay, so
go through prices. I'm gonna run stuff on my end really quick while you're doing that. And
Okay.
we might see something very surprising come up because I'll admit last playoff game, I was expecting like a lot of Jokic captains. Now I kind of got a bunch based on what I changed, but when I ran stuff just raw and normal, that was not the case. So it's definitely interesting. So let's hear the prices. Go through some of it, Spread.
Okay, so Jokic, league of his own. I'm going off utility prices, 15.6. Then Butler and Murray are priced right around in that same spend up range, 12.2, 11.6, right? Bam, a league of his own again at 9,400. Now, here's where I think these decisions get interesting. If there's 4 players in the 6 to 7K range, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. You can make great arguments for all these players. And let me go over to you, Travis. How much was Michael Porter in game 1? How much has this price fallen? And also, we talk about leverage ownership. Who wants to put Michael Porter in their lineup, right? When I have Aaron Gordon, who, I mean, I could just pretty much pencil him in for pure 21 points. I mean, doesn't he get the same output every single night?
Like no upside, it feels like, though. Like, that's the one where
it's just like a safe play, right? I mean, do I want to gamble? Anyways, talk to me about what I've said so far, but mainly that 6 to 7K range. I feel like that's where the tournament's won or lost tonight.
Yeah. So, like, lastly, I played a lot of Michael Porter Jr. It wasn't that I loved him. I thought he was a good play, but I knew the ownership would be low. I got him at 5% at captain. Compared to Bam Adebayo was 13%. Like, I just thought that was like a pretty big enough gap where I thought it was kind of worth taking a shot on. Jokic, I'm probably playing Jokic either at captain or flex. I know it's not a hot take, but like sometimes people like on the site like SaberSim, right? There's different ways you can run your optimizer. There's the GBP setting. On the GBP setting, sometimes it might not give you 100% Jokic. If you want, set a rule. I'm running the raw build, and then I kind of mix in some uniques, which I think is interesting. So I'm running the raw ones now. Actually, I just got to fix it real quick. But the one thing I want to call out, so the first time I ran just the raw runs, I'm not getting a condensed amount of captains. I'm getting 45% Bam Adebayo starts it off, okay? Then I get a guy at 25%, 10%, 5. So it seems like Kevin Love is going to be the clear value guy that people go to again, which Kevin Love is fine. I'm not like there's nothing wrong with Kevin Love, but he is going to be a popular captain option, which typically I don't love to go to the cheap popular captain option. I want to mess around with some other guys that might be interesting. For one, Bam is just like stupid safe too. Like, so his price, how much did it go up? Like, what's the gap? He's at 9,400. Spread that only went up $400, which isn't bad. What is Michael Porter Jr. at, Spread?
7K. And my question is, what? I don't remember off the top of my head. What was he in game 1? I mean, they've dropped his price probably close to 2K, haven't they?
Yeah, it's dropped a lot. I mean, last game it was 7.6, right? So yeah. It's definitely dropped a lot. I will say I'm getting a ton of unique captains today, or just a lot of different captains, which is interesting for sure. Didn't totally expect that. The one guy I'm nervous about the Kevin.
So what did you expect? I think this is a great conversation. Actually, I'm kind of glad you didn't look at it yet. So what did you expect? You thought it was just going to give you Bam at 75%?
No, I expected it to be similar. I'm getting like some like really crappy guys at captain. I mean, it's such a. Like BigT and JSURab have talked about on the show. If one of these guys hits 30, right? Like these cheaper guys, like they're just kind of on the winner. Lastly, it ended up being the build where it went like Jokic, Bam, and like Murray. Like you needed 3 of the studs, and then it was like some of the cheaper guys because of like what Christian Braun did and some of those other options. For one bit, Jimmy's not going to be super owned today. This might be the Jimmy spot, like to take the chance. Like the ownership's low enough. Like he's someone I think I'm going to like bump up on my teams. Do you guys buy Christian Braun again? It seems like such a good, like, just he.
So this is where I love talking to you. Like from let's say from a betting perspective, like if we're doing his props, I can just take a stand, right? I either do or don't. But now talking to you, you made me realize I also got to think how many other people are going to go to Christian Braun, right? So even if I like him, does it even help me that much against the field, or am I better off just hoping he fades and let 50% people waste a value spot?
So I agree. The thing that I would argue with some of this is like you have to kind of figure out like, okay, when you watch these series, like who's the guy like you kind of understand not to fade. Like in that Nuggets and Sun series, you understood it was like, okay, we're not fading. We got to play 3 of Murray, Jokic, KD, and Booker, right? Like it's like you learn as the series goes on. There's some dudes you just ain't fading, right? Like Caleb Martin was that guy last year. It's like, all right, we're not fading Caleb Martin. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense. You can make the argument Jason Tatum was like that at some points in some of these series. Like, so there's some guys you're just not fading. So Bam and Jokic feel like it feels like the way I would order them is Jokic 1, Bam 2 because of price. I mean, Murray is 2.2K more. Murray's probably 3 and Butler is 4. That's probably a lot of people's ranking on them. So that decides what you do with Jamal and Butler. Because I think Jokic and Bam are like the clear, safest, best ones. And it's mainly a price thing when it comes to Bam Adebayo. Man, I do kind of want to take a chance on Jimmy today. Like I think I might like push Jimmy on some teams a little more just because I think the ownership's going to be low. Like people are not going to want to play him. And
I mean, if I'm doing a single lineup and I'm only playing one, I think I'd rather have Jimmy than Murray tonight. Murray's coming off the huge game, right? Jimmy's coming off the down game. We've talked about zigzag already. You're zigzagging on the side. I'm zigzagging on the total. Why wouldn't we zigzag on our basically 11 to 12K range, right? Where Murray was the money, game 3. I like Jimmy there tonight too, more than Murray.
The only issue you run into a little bit is like, gosh, it just all these plays are like this defense is designed for Bam, right? So it's like, I mean, Jimmy had what last game? So he had 24 field goal attempts, 4 assists. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not ignoring Jimmy from a contrarian standpoint. It seems like Jamal Murray ends up becoming 4th in line for me. One idea you could do, which I kind of talked about doing last show, and I did not pull the trigger on it. I kind of realized as the game went, I was like, why did I not do this? But what I might do, Spread, is I might go in and just X out like Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Caleb Martin, like this mid-ish tier range. The question is Gabe Vincent's now in that tier, and I don't feel as comfortable with it, but I don't know. He is more expensive. But like if you X'd all of them out, like, I don't know. It seems like I want to grab like at least 2, maybe 3 of these guys up top. Because, like, how do you feel about all these guys in the mid-tier? I don't like KCP. Bruce Brown's fine. Like, I don't feel good about Caleb Martin, Aaron Gordon. Like, none of these guys I feel great about. So I might just X a lot of this middle range out. And I'm okay taking shots on, like, the Kyle Lowrys, the Max Struss, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love. Maybe you can put Bruce Brown in that range and KCP, but I'm not a huge KCP guy. So I'd rather play Bruce Brown.
Take KCP out of your lineups.
Yes, agreed. I'd rather play Bruce Brown. So, like, what if I decided – so let me look at the run I just had. The run I just had, does it have anyone in that middle range that I just mentioned? Because if it doesn't, then that's a problem. But let's see. So the middle range, it has no MPJ, no Caleb Martin, but it has – I do have some Gabe Vincent and some Aaron Gordon. So, I don't know. I want to mess around with this lower range and try and hit something here. I think I'm going to mess around with Kyle Lowry and keep going to him. What is your thoughts on that? I do worry about the minutes because, listen, if he just plays bad in like the first half, there's so much catch up he has to go through and it's like brutal. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on Kyle Lowry? Because it definitely felt like he took some of Kevin Love's minutes last game. Like his first half minutes last game was 15, right? Like that was encouraging. I at least liked it. Sure, did they lose that game? Yes, but I think they need Kyle Lowry. Like, if they're going to win this, like, series, I think Kyle Lowry is a big part of it. Do you kind of agree on that?
I definitely agree. And to one of your earlier points, and I'm telling you who I like in those ranges. And, of course, this is coming from a hand-building perspective. But I'd rather have Gabe Vincent than Aaron Gordon tonight if I'm playing a tournament. Now, cash game might be different, right? Because Aaron Gordon, you just pencil in 21 and call it a day. But Gabe Vincent, to me, has got a way higher upside.
He does. This has been the big battle I've struggled with is what do I do with Lowry and Gabe Vincent? But Lowry and Gabe Vincent closed together last game for most of the 4, so they can overlap enough, right? Their closing lineup last game was Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry, and Caleb Martin. So Max Struss and Duncan Robinson both did not get the closing lineup. Why do we think they didn't close, Spread? So
What are you talking about? Duncan Robinson was out there till about 2-3 minutes to go. Duncan Robinson made the 2 threes to give him the push. They got close to within 10 points with 2 minutes to go, and then Bam Adebayo missed the 17-footer, and then they started fouling. And I couldn't believe they were fouling down 9 or 10 or whatever. But I guess it's the NBA Finals. Go look.
I'm on popcorn. I'm popcorn this game just to make sure. June 7th. Yeah, I got the right date. It says Duncan Robinson played from 1:58 to 9:30, and then he came out. He did go back in the
fourth quarter.
He went back in at the 1:40 mark, and then made 6 points.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so he wasn't in. Okay, I understand.
Was he part of the closing unit? No, he wasn't. Right, the closing unit was so.
I don't know if that was a normal closing unit though.
It's almost like they traded some 3-point shooting for defense there with putting those guys on the bench.
Correct. So what I'm asking is why did they do that? Right? Why would they do that? Why did they?
Because they're down by 16 or whatever.
They
don't get a stop. It doesn't matter what they make.
Yeah. So the question is, because I always feel like Max Struss and Duncan Robinson play similar roles, and Gabe Vincent and Lowry play similar roles where they all replace each other. You're never going to see Max Struss and Duncan Robinson closing together more than likely, that unless they're both just playing lights out hot. Like that seems pretty egregious. The two guys that can overlap are Lowry and Vincent. But I would set a rule, Struss and Duncan Robinson, I don't really want on the same team. I know the only reason I maybe wouldn't set the rule is they're cheap, but I don't want them overlapping too much. The key is, what do you do with Vincent versus Lowry? I think that's a really big debate. I think it's a big Lowry.
I like Vincent.
Yeah, he's so much more. I mean, I guess it depends what the $1,000 does for you, right? Like maybe it doesn't do anything.
It's weird. So remember earlier I said, there's between the 6 and 7K range. Now you're talking to me into a bunch of builds without just ignoring that range altogether.
So I don't think you want to I don't like that 6K range as much.
If I don't like the 6 to 7K range, I could get away with spending more on Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, I just think when you play these guys in the cheap range, there's just so many different combinations that you can run into. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't like this 6K range as much.
What do you think about this comment? So Brian Andrews is on my side. He's feeling a Gabe Vincent game. He also says Lowry got hurt last game. I don't think he's 100%.
He said he's fine, but who knows, right?
They're all going to say they're fine, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Jimmy Butler rolled his ankle and said he was fine.
But here's the thing, guys. It's Kyle Lowry is 4.6K and Gabe Vincent is 6K. There's a gap in price.
Okay, so let's do this as a 2v2 though.
That's what I mean. So that's what you have to look at. I just think that's a really big 2v2 tonight. Another big 2v2.
But where is it going to differentiate you from, right? Butler and Murray are only 4,600 apart. So, I guess you could say it's close to between Murray and Adebayo.
Adebayo and Murray's a big gap, is enough gap, right?
We just talked about how we loved Adebayo in that 9K range, though. So I don't know.
No, yeah. So here's another one.
Yes, we know Vincent's better than Lowry. We're talking about compared to the price, Clyde.
Yes, Clyde, if you could give me Gabe Vincent at 4.6K, yes. Yeah. I agree with you.
We're playing both.
Also, I'm just being honest, Gabe Vincent is going to be higher owned.
Yeah. Let's talk about Gabe Vincent. He struggled in that last game. He had 2 early fouls that obviously rattled him. That's the difference between a young player and being a vet, right? You got to think they get a friendly whistle tonight. Scott Foster's in the chat already.
Yeah, that definitely can help. You know what I might do, Spread? This is a good, after talking this through, right? I think the way I might play my Kyle Lowry shares, and I don't think it's a bad idea to do it with your Max Struss shares either. If you're going to play this guy, play for the ceiling, right? Play for the captain spot.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
Maybe just if it's I would probably, so what happens when you play with projections, right? Typically when you mess around with your projections, if you bump Lowry up, the only way you get him the captain is if you move him so high that he's graded as such a good value. And if he's such a good value, what naturally happens is he will be on a lot of your teams in the flex. Maybe I just say, if I play Kyle Lowry, I play him at the captain only, and I get like, maybe not only, right? But maybe I like put like, I don't know, 15 to 20 in the flex, not like 70 in the flex, and then play like 20 in the captain, where I'm playing for the game that if Kyle Lowry gains 30 plus minutes, he's not just going to be on the flex, he's going to be on the winner and the captain, right? Like,
Talk to me about that, because this is an interesting strategy. Help me out. I'm definitely going from the more beginner perspective, but as this is a betting show, probably a lot of beginner daily fantasy guys too. What points do I need at Lowry, do you think, for that to pay off, right? So let's say you did that. I buy in. I got Lowry at my captain. What's the point where you say, spread, if Lowry gets this many, you got a great chance of at least cashing?
It's that 30-point game, right? So we've seen it with Max Struss, right? Like, we've seen, like, look at where the last couple of games, like Struss is on. I haven't entered.
Struss has been zigzag left and right too. If you want to play zigzag on him, right? He sucked game 1, really good game 2, sucked game 3. I mean,
but my point is, Fred, we've seen Struss, right, in his games, 10.75, 29.25, and 20. That 29.5, I don't know if he was for sure on the winning captain, but there were teams up there with him on the winning captain.
He wasn't the winning captain that night, I don't think, was he?
But there were teams up there that had him for
okay, that's your point. Yeah,
so
the optimal
this guy is a very, like, these guys that are dependent on their minutes and, like, their ceiling, maybe you want to play them more at the captain spot. You get what I'm saying? Like,
wasn't Gabe Vincent captain the winner in game 2?
Probably, yeah. Gabe Vincent was a very good captain one of the games. Yeah. He saw he was definitely one of them. Haywood Highsmith was the game 1 captain, right?
That's so nuts.
And Brown was the captain.
We didn't even bring him up on the show.
And Christian Braun was the captain for the last one. That's correct. So these have been the winning captains: Haywood Highsmith, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Braun. And I watched the leaderboard.
Now you're selling me on that Kyle Lowry captain, right? Let's get different.
So what Big T and JSU said on a show recently, which I agreed with a lot, was they talked about a couple of things. They said at some point the Jokic captain is just going to be on the winner, or one of these stud captains.
If he didn't get there with 32, 21, and 10, though, he's not getting
there. But Fred, the reason they're not getting there, right? This is the reason they're not getting there. The reason why is when you plug in Jokic at that top captain, or Murray, like, you need those other guys in the middle to do well. When you get a really good performance from these cheap captains, you put him in the captain. You know who you need with a cheap guy? You need Jokic, Bam, Murray. When they all have big games, you need a cheap guy to help make that work. Do you know why you need that to help make it work? Because MPJ is terrible. That whole mid-tier I talked about last show was trash. It's just they're not hitting enough of a ceiling performance. Like, you need them to get to that like 35 to 40, and they're not getting there. One of these cheap guys is always finding a way to get between 25 and 35. Why couldn't it be Kyle Lowry? Would you be shocked if Kyle Lowry had 30 DK points? And listen, I've been playing Kyle Lowry the past couple of slates, and it hasn't been great, but the dude is 4.6K. He played 15 first half minutes last game. Look at his closing, like how he closed the game last time. This is the minutes he played. He came in at the 4:01 mark, and he played the entire fourth until the 1:40 mark. I mean, he's just going to play. Like, I don't know. The only thing that he's going to run into is Gabe Vincent in the second quarter. Gabe Vincent was in there from the 12:08:50, and then he didn't play that entire second half. So that's the one thing you're going to run into. That, yeah, Gabe Vincent could steal some time, but maybe Kyle Lowry takes some time from Caleb Martin, or he takes it from Max Struss. Like, it just depends on how good he starts out playing. Here's another guy who could be on the winning captain who hasn't been yet, spread. What about Duncan Robinson captain?
Yeah.
And the main reason why is when
here's the thing about Duncan, though. He doesn't get you any peripherals. I mean, didn't he score 12 points and have 12.5 DK points?
Correct, yes. It can be brutal, but, I mean, if I told you Christian Braun captain was last time, you'd be like, well, that guy doesn't do that much, right? He shot
no, yeah, I would have laughed too. That's why we're going through all these scenarios, and it's so much fun to build lineups every day. Even it's the same game, same matchup, but it's so much fun each time.
So the way I'm planning on building is I'm gonna have Jokic captains, right? Because I think that Jokic captain team could be good at some point. I want to be in on it when it hits. I don't want to miss it. So I will have those teams for sure. Then I'm going to look at the Jimmy, Jamal, Bam range. I'm going to see what the Bam captains look like. They might not be that encouraging. I might get off them. There's a chance I throw in like a very small percentage of Jimmy captain just to have it. And I want to mess around with the cheap guys, right? I want to have I don't know about Vincent. Vincent at captain, he's just getting pricier. That's all. So let's say he gets 33 at 6K. Is that enough now to be like the winner? Because at 6K, let's just plug in. I have 8-2. I plug in Jokic. I'll plug in Adebayo, who's one of the best values of like the Butler and Murray, right? Now I'm left at 5.3K. So this is what happens. This is where it's going to get interesting. When you play Gabe Vincent at captain, let's plug in Max Struss, or let's plug in Kevin Love. He's a good value today, right? Okay. Let's plug in who's the next best value you want to put? Is it Max Struss? Braun seems like a tough one. Let's plug in Bruce Brown or Max Struss. We'll do Max Struss. So we plug him in there.
I definitely like Struss more than Brown in it.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I plug in Gabe Vincent, Jokic, Bam, Love, and Struss, I'm left with 8-6. Where does that land me, spread? It lands me on Porter Jr. and leaving 1.6K. This just doesn't work as well.
Terrible.
Let's take out Love and Struss and plug in Jamal Murray. I'm left with 2.2K, Vincent captain, Jokic, Bam, Murray. Okay? So 2.2K for 2 spots. Not super easy to fill. That would be
Cody Zeller. We got to bring it back to him.
There's just nothing there. So this is where it gets interesting. If you plug in Jokic, Bam, and Murray, let's plug in Lowry over Vincent and see what it does. That gives me 3.2 for my spots. If I plug in Max Struss, I can get Jeff Green. So Max Struss and Jeff Green isn't terrible. It's way better than what we just talked about. If I plug in Duncan Robinson,
you got to go Haywood Highsmith over Jeff Green.
But it's not that great. But this one's not bad. Duncan Robinson and Kevin Love is way better than the two we just talked about, right?
I agree, definitely.
And yeah, so this is where now the Lowry teams versus the Vincent ones are pushing it a bit, right? And that's if you're avoiding that 6K range like I talked about. So the Lowry teams can work, but it's not as flexible. Let's try the Duncan Robinson captain, okay? He's a lot cheaper than Lowry. So we do Duncan Robinson captain. I'm given 4.3K for 2 spots, spread. 4.3 for 2. Okay? That gives me, I could go all the way up to Aaron Gordon and play Jeff Green or Haywood Highsmith. Okay? I can go up to Gabe Vincent and play Christian Braun. The Duncan, so the reason I wanted to go through this exercise was you see the Gabe Vincent captains will not unlock the 3 studs. That's fine. If you only want 2 studs, great. But it will not unlock the 3. The 3 get unlocked at Lowry, Struss, and Love. It does get unlocked on Vincent if you can really buy in to playing Jeff Green, Haywood Highsmith teams and Cody Zeller. That just seems like too much of a long shot, right? It's just harder to make that work. When you get down to this Kyle Lowry range, it gets intriguing. You know what I mean? So
because you can absorb 1K guy busting for you, right? But you can't have 2 spots where you get nothing, right?
Even Bruce Brown, you put Bruce Brown captain, Jokic, Bam, Murray, Christian Braun, and Duncan Robinson. That's not crazy. You could also play Kevin Love and Christian Braun. There's just the point I'm getting at is once you hit the Vincent threshold, you cannot get the 3 studs as well. You can get it, but that leaves you with 2.2K. You have to go Christian Braun and Jeff Green together. How do you feel about that? Kevin Love with Haywood Highsmith. The problem is Braun and Jeff Green kind of eat into each other a little bit, right? You know who else eats into each other? Kevin Love and Haywood Highsmith. They just don't correlate great. So my point being is it's not that I don't think Gabe Vincent is great today. It's that I think when we're talking captains and captains alone, that's why I think these other routes.
Let's just say you just got hired by Rubio Sportsbook, right? And you're making the lines for him. And so Rubio comes to you and he says, I need a line for whether or not the captain, the optimal captain tonight, or the winning captain, let's not say optimal, let's say winning captain is 6K, Gabe Vincent or more. What would you put the line at?
I think it's close, to be honest. Like I think.
Would you put about -110 each way?
So when I run everything, my 20 teams raw, nothing changed with my stuff. Like just raw stuff, nothing like with my adjustments. I get 60% Bam and Jokic captain, like together, combined. Mm-hmm. And then the rest below 6K is actually it's 65% because Butler's included in there. The rest are who I said, Max Struss, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown. It's not that middle range. It's not. To be fair, that will be a contrarian build, right? Like it kind like no one's gonna really play that route. So spread, let's talk in like a crazy world. Let's do this. Let's do the Gabe Vincent captain because people like it. Let's try the Gabe Vincent captain because I'm not a total bias.
Didn't we already run that and come up with the last two spots were terrible?
Yeah, I didn't like that. So let's try a Michael Porter Jr. captain, as crazy as that sounds. Let's just try it. Let's see.
Okay.
You plug in MPJ, you plug in Jokic, you plug in Bam. I'm at 4-8 for my last three spots, right? So let's plug in Vincent because people like him, right? Now I'm left at 4-2. I plug in Kevin Love and I can get KCP.
No,
I can also go
X him out of the player pool.
So let's go Bruce Brown and Duncan Robinson. This team, Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Bam, Vincent, Brown, and Duncan Robinson, that doesn't even dip below that 3.2K range at all, right? Like,
but Porter's going to dud for you, and
yes, but it is going to be low owned.
I understand. It's a great exercise for lineup building and showdown strategy.
Yeah, and I'm trying to go through and just show you, like when I run things just pretty raw, why that 6K range doesn't hit. It's because when I showed you that Gabe Vincent, it just doesn't hit. And the reason why a lot of these other routes are going to hit is because the gap between Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Caleb Martin, and Gabe Vincent, the gap between those guys and Bruce Brown, Kyle Lowry, Max Struss, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, like, it's just not that wide, right?
Exactly.
Now, could Gabe
the gap between the 9K down to the 7K is huge because Bam,
yes,
right? You talked about as the safest play on the deal. Michael Porter, I mean, you might as well. I mean, that's like rolling the dice on the craps table, right? I mean,
yes.
You have no idea what's going to happen.
Spread, let's try this. Let's now go to Gabe Vincent. I have at, let's see. Let's bump Gabe Vincent's projection, okay? Let's bump it to 20. We're going to bump it. Let's bump it 5 DK points, okay? 5's a lot. I haven't changed anyone else's projection, okay? Let's see how much Gabe Vincent captain I get. I'm just curious. Maybe it'll change things. This is a big tell.
I don't think you're going to get a lot.
If it doesn't, that's a tell to me.
All right, let's see.
I get a lot more.
Says.
Okay. I start to get 20. Okay. So now let's go back. That was a 5 bump. Let's go back and now let's make it a 3 bump. Okay. So let's find Gabe Vincent.
And while Travis is doing that, just a quick reminder, if you want to do this on your own and you're enjoying this exercise and you say, hey, I kind of get where they're going. I want to try and run these numbers myself, but you're not a member. Right now is a great time to join. You use that promo code SUMMER33. You're going to log on to the site. There's a big Saber Sim logo. You go there. And if you're wondering, kind of, late to tuning in or, maybe more of a better and not a daily fantasy player, you go, what is he talking about bumping the projections? What is he doing here? Well, we're using Saber Sim. That's the company that we partnered with here at RunPureSports.com. They provide the best optimizer in the business, and we're using that optimizer. Promo code SUMMER33. You can have some fun playing around with the projections yourself. All right, Travis, what'd you get for us?
So when I do 3, boom, he doesn't even pop up. So it's an interesting exercise to go through. Now let's go to Porter Jr. Let's bump him up 5 and see if we get him, right? Because when I go through these things, it's going to tell me how good that range is. And again, I haven't made any adjustments to anything yet. I'll make them for sure later on. But so when I do that, now I only get 5% Michael Porter Jr. versus 20% Gabe Vincent. So what that tells me, spread, is that Gabe Vincent range is what I said it was. It's viable as a captain, but there's not as many ideal combinations with Haywood, Highsmith, and stuff like that. What this tells me is when you go up to Michael Porter Jr., your upgrades aren't that good, right? Like you're not getting that much when you go and put from Gabe Vincent captain to Porter Jr., which is the lowest range from that 6K to the highest range guy. You're not getting that much of a bump compared to what everything on paper says. So what it tells me is, like I said last show, Spread, is that 6K range ain't as good as you think. I like Gabe Vincent. I think he's fine. I will have exposure to him for sure. But I just think this lower 5K and below range as a captain is really interesting. Between Bruce Brown, Lowry, Struss, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, that range is enticing to me as a captain because of what it gets me for my full lineup. That's why I like it a lot.
All right. Well, that's a great breakdown. I think that we've done more than enough to get everyone started here on hand building some lineups. Great exercise. I feel like I learned a lot, so hopefully everyone else did too. Tyler, what are your thoughts here on the way we've been building these lineups? And after hearing this conversation, you're only single building one lineup. Who would you want as your captain?
Yeah, I'd probably default to one of those mid-tier guys, like a Vincent, or maybe even go lower like Travis was talking about. I'm probably staying away from the DFS side as much, but I don't have many takes there.
Okay. Yeah, after hearing that conversation, I'm trying to get a guy under 6K. We talked about that thing earlier. I think that, from what we've talked about, the chances of under 6K being on the winning lineup, the lineup that ships all the money tonight, are higher than it being a guy over 6K. So I'm going to look at Strus and Lowry and those guys.
Here's a fun idea, Spread. So I'm not saying I'm for sure playing everyone below 6K, right, as my captain, but run a group on Saber that says only play at least one of these captains, or like X out all like.
Can I make a rule that my captain can't be more than whatever Kyle Lowry's price tag is?
Yeah, or you can just go to captain spot and X out all the expensive guys. Yeah. Now, what I'm probably going to do tonight is I'm not going to put that rule in, but within my 20. If I get, like in Saber, if I get an Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. captain, I'm probably going to exit. I don't think I'm going to get it based on the way I set my projections anyways, but I don't know. I just think Gabe Vincent's at a tougher price where I think it can work, but also keep in mind when you play Gabe Vincent at captain, a lot of people are going to be on kind of that combination. And Clyde's wondering where Rubio is to help make him money. Rubio, use that code SUMMER33, get you 33% off his playbook, Clyde. And he did a Saber Sim show for free at 2 p.m. Eastern. It was an hour before us, and you can go watch that, right? If you want Rubio's takes, you can click the X on me, but you'll miss some good best bets. So you maybe wait a little bit, right? Listen to everything on 1.5 speed and get the Rubio takes. I'm sure I'm going to give that a listen shortly because I haven't dialed in my NBA stuff, and I got to get MLB going. So I got a lot on my plate in the next 4.5 hours, but I'm not complaining, right? We're gonna do our best to help set you up for some success over here at Rumpier.
Well, Mangone, you brought the game theory. You brought the energy. I mean, everybody's ready to go now to build these lineups. They've heard your breakdowns. They can use that promo code SUMMER33, start messing around with those projections themselves. And you said it, right? It's time for the best bets. Tyler, I'm going to start with you. What's your best bet for tonight?
I'm going to go with that performance double, Jokic triple-double when they win plus 160.
All right, so he's back on the Nuggets. Travis, I think you're on the opposite side here for the side of the game. You like the Miami Heat, but what's your best bet for the night?
All right, best bet. My best bet's going to be the KCP threes again. Under 1.5 threes. We get it at minus 122. I'm putting it on the sheet now. I put up a player prop pretty much every single day. There, I'll admit, some days I'm like yesterday, I'm like, it's 5 early baseball games, 5 late. Like, yeah, we'll come back tomorrow, right? Most days though, we get them up there. So far 23 and 15 on the sheet so far since we've been doing it in May, since we kind of revamped it. So we're going back with the KCP threes. Actually, I have to make it 24 because I don't think I put in the win. So yeah, we're doing good on the bet side with that. So yeah, I bet that on FanDuel. It's minus 122. That's my best bet. If you want my favorite side, which after this I'm going to do a video of. We're going to go with the Heat plus 3.5. I know I'm on a different side. I'm going with the zigzag. Listen, Denver can still win the game. I just think this one's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be close. I think I'm also going to sprinkle the money line. I'm not saying I'm, betting the house on the money line, but I like the idea of if I have $50.
Bro, don't sprinkle the money line. Go heavy on the money line. The chances that Miami loses by 1, 2, or 3 are like less than 10%.
You think so?
Miami's either going to win straight up or they're going to lose by 12. They're not. They're not coming down to a last second shot. And maybe, you guys can clip this and be all wrong or whatever.
Here's the question spread. So I think this depends on what line you're getting. Which brings up a good conversation. The Heat are currently plus 134 on FanDuel, or you can bet the plus 3.5 at minus 110, or you can grab the on FanDuel, it's Heat are plus 3.5, they're minus 115 or plus 140 on the money line. This is where the question lies, spread. Is it worth, how many cents is it worth? Is it worth what sense would you change it at? Like if I told you Heat was plus 120, would you still take the Heat or would you take the 3.5? How many cents is the 3.5 worth? That's the question.
Yeah, plus 1.
It's worth something, but what is the price?
At plus 115, I would just take the points. Plus 120, probably still take the points. But it's plus 148, right? So it's 60 cents.
It's plus 140.
I got plus 137 right now.
Yeah, I got plus 140 on DK. And again, this is why I think
it's 50 cents.
Yeah,
and on something that I think is a less than 10% possibility.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, the Heat were fouling down 8. I mean, it really has to come down to there's no reason for them to foul with less than 45 seconds to go for the spread to matter.
I agree. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the Heat money line instead. Again, it was good to talk it out. Because I do think they win tonight. I think and I think that 50 cents is worth it. Will I be a little upset if the Heat, miss the cover? Yeah, but I don't know, that plus 140.
It's hard. It's hard because you know what? You're always going to remember those times where you took the money line instead of the plus 2.5 and they win by 1 because it hurts, right? But you don't think about all the little times that you got the extra 20 cents on the win, right? And it helped you attack the vig, the minus 108, the minus 110 that you've been paying all year. You don't really think about those, right? I mean, how many times do we bet Charlotte plus 8 and they just went straight up and everyone goes, I can't believe that, the Celtics lost to the Hornets or whatever, right? And it's like, well, these things happen. So yeah. I think if you like Miami tonight, take the money line. I like the over. It's moved 0.5 since this morning. But we've zigzagged here on the sides. I think that we zigzagged on the total as well. Like I've said probably 5 times already, I think this is completely correlated with Miami. If you like the Heat, and the Heat have taken a little money while we've been talking too. I see them at plus 3 now. So, boy, people are listening to me because, they like the Heat and they like the over, but I think they're correlated. If I don't get my 211 tonight, it's because of Miami. Tyler, on that vein, do you think that I'd be safer just taking a Denver team total since I seem so confident to them in score? Or do you think it even matters?
No, I don't think it matters.
The Denver team total's 107. The Miami's 104.
I think you're fine at 211 spread. I think we're thinking too deep into it.
That's what happens when we just do one game for 2 weeks straight, right?
Yeah.
All right. And I see one of my favorite guys in here, Glock. Glock, if we weren't wrapping up, I would try and get you on the show right now. But, maybe we'll have you on the offseason show so we can talk about all the free agents that the Mavericks did not sign. You're not getting LeBron. I'll say that one more time. All right. There we have it. I appreciate everyone hanging out with us today. I think that was a fun exercise.
Yeah. It was good. Definitely.
For beginners and even experienced players at the Showdown.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed last show that I didn't kind of fire on Xing those guys out. I'm not saying I'm Xing them today, but I'm definitely ignoring that. I mean, I think in the flex they could be fine as last fillers and stuff, but I'm going to be lower on them for sure. I had too much Porter Jr. at the captain lastly, and I don't hate it. I got him at 5%, right? And I think there was a chance he could have popped, but I don't know. He's also been willing to be benched and been cool with it, and I don't know. Maybe he just don't got that dog in him, right? The GIF, the dog inside thread. I don't know if Michael Porter Jr. has that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what's worse, that stupid X-ray or him. I'm so old because I'm just starting to hate on all the things that the kids do. And I want to apologize to Glock. I'm trying to lose a little weight now. I'm a little hangry. I shouldn't have lashed out at the Mavericks. I'll send you a sky pic as a token of my apologies, Glock. I should not have done that. And he says that you got that dog with the slick back hair there. What do you think about that?
I did just get a haircut, so I got it cut, and it was really long, and the lady, she styled it up, and I figured I'd keep it. We'll see if I can stick with it. I don't know. It's really long right now, though, Spread. It's not my normal, so.
It's a good shirt. It's a good shirt. If I was a young lady in Colorado, I would, hey. Or a young man in Colorado with a girlfriend, I might have to watch out. I mean,
the ladies, I think they like it. I don't know. It's mixed.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Some are different than others. It just depends. I don't know. Some like beards, some don't, right? Like
You know what's funny? I hate beards. It seems like everyone. Right now. This is about as long as I want it to get. Every woman I've dated always wants me to grow it out farther.
Really?
I do not like it.
It's always different. Like some like it, some. It just depends on preference. So. Just gotta find out. You gotta find out. You gotta do what you like, but you also have to find out. If they like it, and then see what you want to do.
Yeah, I'll grow it out when we're gonna see each other. But I like to keep it pretty short like this. Like anything more than this, it feels like it's getting in the way.
Yeah, you like to look fresh and cut when you see Mikey. You want to look good for your guy, Mikey.
Oh, why do we have to bring him up? We were having such a good show today. All right, words of wisdom before he said he's going to mini stack the Oakland A's because of my shirt. And how much longer will they be the Oakland A's? We will find out. Travis, words of wisdom before we get out of here.
Yeah, a lot of fun being on the show. Love talking the NBA stuff with you. So hopefully I'll be able to jump on again. I think we're going to get a longer series than people think. All the people in Denver are like, oh, it's going to be 4-0 or 4-1 or whatever. And I'm not completely buying it. This team is hard to knock out. So hopefully we get a ton of Showdown stuff. And if we do, you get to check out Rubio Dime's playbook over here at Run Pure Sports. Use that code to get 33% off. It's summer 33. Also, if you want some bets, right? Let's say you're an NBA guy. One of my buddies was like, hey, I need some entertainment tonight. And I, cooked up the 3 bets for him. 3-0, swept the board. I've already gotten the text, because it won. He wants more bets. Listen, I'll have my props up. I'll have a video up later on my Twitter. But if you want my props consistently, use that code SUMMER33, get you 33% off. Also, if you want the playbook winners, which, listen, the playbook has been on fire for the playoffs. Check out what Spread and Tyler have been doing. Again, you can use that code SUMMER33. It gets you 33% off. And we got tons of stuff for you over here at Run Pure Sports. So that'll about wrap it up for us. Be sure to sign up right now.